Alright, classes. We all like classes, right? When we play role-playing games. This is by James Spahn. This is the Class Compendium. His company, Barrel Rider Games. A successful Indiegogo campaign was created for it, and this is for Labyrinth Lord and other OSR type games. And it has 52 new classes. And Labyrinth Lord is my go-to game for basic D&D. So this, fits in quite well, but it can be used obviously for other games. And it's all the classes are separated into kind of groupings, and I'm gonna go through some of the groupings right now. You're gonna have like your arcane, your magic users, your dwarves, your elves, your halflings, your holy rollers, which is your clerics, in shining armor, which is going to be your knights, martial masters, barbarian, berserker, gladiator type. Monstrous marauders is going to be monster classes like dragon, goblin, half ogre, half orc. Second star on the right is going to have fairy, lost boy, and pirate. Traveling troublemakers is going to be like your acrobat, explorer, fortune teller. Unhallowed heroes, cultists, death knight. And then you've got urban adventurers, bandit, bounty hunter, watchmen. And then your virtuous Victorians, which is going to take you outside a little bit of fantasy. And you're going to have automation, investigator, shootist. And then it's got a section of new equipment that go along with those classes. A section on mastery points and the other classes, and the mastery points are part of the Swordmaster class, which is a very cool class. And then it's got spells, and it lets you know these are all spells that these classes used, obviously taken from Labyrinth Lord, and let you know which one of these classes and what level they cast them at. So I want to go through it and just kind of give you a couple ones of my personal favorites. There's plenty of them. Alienist, there's familiar. You can play a familiar of your PC can play familiar of another magic user. You've got the choices of like cat, crow, a raven, a dog, a hawk, a hare. And it lets you play a familiar, with that other player character. So that sounds pretty fun. Thopian Gnome is a jerk gnome who is kind of a shithead and a dirty fighter. You can also cast spells. Wild Wizard is going to be obviously going to have that magical flux where your spell all of a sudden become more powerful, less powerful, or do something kind of zany. So someone who likes kind of a little bit of fun, and almost kind of reminds me a little bit of what Dungeon Crawl Classics can do. A lot of its magic users. So the dwarves, you're going to have the Raging Slayer, who's got a frothing rage, big attack, obviously. Runesmith, who knows, obviously, runes, and has rune magic that goes along with that, and can use simple runes as well. War Chanter, this class is pretty cool. It's got a battle song, kind of have that dwarven bard type feel of helping everybody in the group. I always like classes that do that. Then you get your elves, your dark elf. We know that one. The Green Singer is going to be an elf, obviously, that likes. Again, there's a lot of singers in this, which I enjoy. Song of the Wild, Speak with Animals, Song of the Earth, Speak with Plants, that type stuff. Half Elf, we all know that one pretty well. The Sylvan Elf, obviously more in tune with nature. And the Burglar, and this art, come on, this is Jean-Ralphio, right? Everybody, we've seen that before, right? That's from Parks and Recreation. That's got to be him. It was just me. So, Burglar, we know that from certain books. Burglar's Luck, and, obviously they like to riddle. Now, this is one of my favorites here in the whole book. It's called the Feastmaster, a halfling that makes food. And we know that halflings enjoy their food. And so, obviously I'm going to touch on some of the classes that I really enjoy a little bit more thoroughly. They're going to have, as they go up a level, better and better recipes to cook. And such as in the very beginning, your first level, you get basic recipes. You're going to get like travel cakes, bacon jerky, sauteed mushrooms, and carrots. And so each one of these, when you make it, is going to give a certain effect. +1 hit point per level, +1 to all melee attack rolls, +1 to all missile attack rolls. And then as you go up a level, you'll get simple recipes, and they're going to get stronger and stronger until you get the master recipes. This is a class I really, really like. I think it's got a lot of bad pun here. It's got a lot of flavor to it, and you could really have a fun character who's seeking out a lot of mundane food and stuff, but helping the group as well. So I really like that character. The Huckster, obviously this Huckster has got fast talk, bargain prices as abilities. This is going to be where this character is kind of nimble. They got the gift of gab, and it's a pretty neat class if you like halflings. Lucky Fool, this one's obviously going to have one that He's a class that can has a bonus saves. Got some thief abilities, of course. But so like right here, the lucky save once per day. A lucky fool of 2nd level or higher may reroll any single one failed saving throws. So they kind of get themselves out of a jam. They've got a lucky dodge. They've got a lucky strike, and they can cheat death. So kind of a character that's going to kind of bounce back from hits. The Tavern Singer is going to have a bunch of different songs. Once again, Song of Merriment, Song of Fellowship. They can pick pockets, and they're very good at brawling in bar rooms. So fun. Then you move on to your Holy Rollers. You've got your Angel. Now this is obviously a class that, and all these classes are going to be, you're not going to hand this to your players and be like, here, just pick any class, and oh, you're an Angel? Cool. Alright, cool, you're an Angel. I mean, obviously you're going to have to weed through some of these. They might not go in jail, obviously with the campaign or adventure or setting, whatever you've got going. But you've got an Angel, you've got a Friar, can turn undead, lay on hands. They are merciful in combat, so they're not going to be bashing a bunch of heads. Inquisitor, obviously they're going to be searching out for, things that maybe, they don't want, like someone that might be a cultist. They can interrogate, maybe something that's, they use a lot of threats, intimidation, and so they have an ability that lets them do that, and they can cast some spells as they go up in level. The Undead Slayer, obviously that's fairly obvious. Later on they get to move in silently and hide in shadows. They can hear noise down the road, and obviously their main goal is going to be killing undead. In Shining Armor is going to have your Commander, and this right off the bat, basic tactics at level 1 is going to give out some orders, and all who hear the orders are going to get +2 bonus to all melee and ranged attacks for 1 turn. So that's pretty helpful. I mean, it's kind of like having an innate bless, better than that. And the commander can use this ability up to 3 times per day, and then they'll get other abilities as they go up in level. So I really like the commander class. I really like classes that kind of boost everybody. Buffing classes, helping classes. I used to never play healers, but now I play a bunch of healers. So I always feel like I've got something to do, a role really to play that I enjoy helping. You've got the Dragon Slayer. Obviously, good at killing dragons. Pretty self-explanatory. And the abilities that go along with it. The Knight, obviously great at horsemanship, code of chivalry. They get noble trappings that come with them. And then your martial masters, your barbarian. You know that one. And then, of course, separate the berserker. I like barbarian and berserker split up, which I've talked about before in other videos. Your gladiator. Your gladiator is going to be good at, obviously, the certain type of weaponry that gladiators use. Later on, they can become a flashy performer, and it kind of stuns the opponent that they're fighting. Makes them have a -2 to all their attack rolls because they see how badass that gladiator is they're about to fight. Samurai, if you want to do some campaigns that might be feudal Japan type adventuring, so that one's pretty cool. Swordmaster. Now the Swordmaster has got a neat new ability. It's got the mastery points, which I spoke about. And what it is as you go up in level, the Swordmaster gets certain points. And then every round, they're able to take those points and kind of change and tweak their character every round. If for 1 point mastery, you can boost up your attack bonus. If you want to spend 2 points, you can raise it up +2. You can spend a point to raise your damage, or you can spend another 2 and lower your armor class. It'll give you an initiative bonus. So kind of ebbs and flows as you go, and they get better. Their armor class gets naturally better as they level up. But this is a very cool class, and I thought it was a lot of fun. It was one that I would definitely want to play out of this book. So before initiative rolls, they get to use those points per round to gain bonus to attack, damage, armor class, initiative, or movement. They last for 1 round and then they're spent. So you're really going to have to obviously go through that pool of pool of mastery points and use them really well, so you don't squander them. And then you've got a dragon that obviously is going to go up in level and go up in armor class, their bite, their claw, spells. Obviously this is not going to be for everybody. You're not going to play not everybody's going to want to play dragons, but at least it's here, and it's optional, and you can make have some fun with it. A goblin, half ogre, half orc, the treant, and then you've got your second star to the right. You've got the fairy. Now, I know someone who always plays flying little critters, so that would be a class that maybe he likes. Lost Boy, straight out of Peter Pan. Ageless and Fearless. They gain flight down the road. The Pirate. We all know what a pirate does. And then you've got your traveling troublemakers. The Acrobat. Obviously going to have a lot of thief type skills, but they've also got some new ones: pole vault, high jump, roll with fall, tightrope walking. So even more of that type of aspect that a thief has. You've got your Explorer. The Explorer down the road is going to get some spells, but also going to get a couple of neat abilities as well. Extra languages, find and remove traps. They can identify magic items. And they can use magic items, so kind of exploring the lands and learning more as they go through them. So I thought that was a really neat class as well. Fortune Teller, obviously is going to be able to cast spells down the road. Has what a Fortune Teller does. Been able to maybe tell about the future, bestow curses on people. And then you've got the Wanderer. The Wanderer is going to be your kind of survival type character. They're going to have accumulated a lot of items, so they have these trappings that they have, and they can hide in shadows, pick pockets. They're going to survive off the land. So they're going to make weapons out of whatever they can think of to survive. And then they have a lot of luck type things: luck of the traveler, luck of the warrior. They're going to get these as they go up in level. They can reroll attack rolls as they go up in level. They can reroll a failed saving throw, which is a big deal, obviously. And then you've got your unhallowed heroes. Cultist, pretty self-explanatory. Damn Fear, if you like kind of half vampires, obviously. They can charm you, move silently. Your Death Knight, always like the Death Knight, seems like a very powerful character. And obviously a lot of these are going to have a lot of different experience to level them up, so each one is different. And some are going to have take a lot more experience to level than the other ones. So kind of your evil type classes right there. And then let's keep going here. You've got the Bandit for the urban, the Bard. We all know a Bard. You've got Bounty Hunter, can interrogate. Obviously is good at tracking humanoids. Then you've got a class called the Watchmen, and this is a class I really like because we were starting up a Labyrinth Lord adventures that was going to be set in the city of Domve, one of Pete Spahn's, his book's creation there in his Amherst setting. And I decided to play the Watchman, and I told everybody about it. And what it is it's a character that is pretty much like a cop almost in a big city. They have rumor mill abilities where they can find out what's going on in the city, and then they have a lantern that they use, and they're so good at using the lantern that they can blind people with the lantern after a couple levels. They can hit with it and use it as a weapon. And I just thought it was a really neat class. They're good at hearing noises and listening out for stuff. And so and then the other players we all decided just to play Watchmen. It was kind of like, Domve, Vice City type thing. And I had a blast with that. I thought it was really fun. And then you've got, starting to get towards the end, the Virtuous Victorians. The automation pretty much is like a robot, alloy skin, self-repair, clockwork mind, stuff like that. Investigator. Now these things, you can use these in a lot of different type of obviously adventures than just normal fantasy. They have deductive reasoning. This is going to be kind of like your Sherlock Holmes type character. So you can start pulling yourself out and get maybe into different time periods and stuff. Let's keep going here. The Shootist. It's kind of a funny name, but they live by this person, obviously that lives with new technology, and they use guns. So they use, they've got a ability called Keen Shot. They have to keep track of all their weapons and stuff. Well kept, obviously, and they learn Fast Draw, Deadeye, and later on they get twin pistols. So if you want to kind of add that into it, maybe you could do kind of like a Penny Dreadful type of campaign. The Showtime show. Then you've got your new equipment: the Elf Shot Bow, Bullseye Lantern for the Watchman. Then it tells you about using mastery points with other classes, which is very helpful if you want to use that. For your Dwarf, Elf, Fighter, Halfling, and Thief, it's not going to be used by the Clerics and Magic users, but it lets you know, what you can have. Those each separate. Obviously, the Fighter is going to get a lot more of those mastery points. I really like mastery points. I think they're really fun. If you want to have something that's maybe a little bit more crunchy to add on that your players can choose and get as they go up in level. Like in the beginning, no one's got mastery points. Once you get second level, they all get one. And then, you could just use that as you want. It's kind of an optional thing, but I think very cool. Rules for firearms and gunpowder. And then it goes into a whole section like I said, the spells. So it's going to let you know what of these new classes, which level these classes get them, such as Command, the Cultist gets it at level 1, Inquisitor gets it at level 1, stuff like that. So a bunch of sections in the back of spells, very helpful, obviously, to have that. And that's pretty much it. So it's a very useful book. There's a couple of little things I have about it. Obviously, some of the art is kind of all over the place. There's a bunch of different art going on in it. A bunch of different styles. Some of it obviously is kind of an older, maybe like a stock art or historical art type stuff, public domain type art, like the Knight here. And each class obviously has something. There's the Swordmaster. There's not really a lot of coherency. There are obviously a bunch of artists that did it. And so there's not, some of the pieces are better than others. This is a William McAustin right here for the fairy, you can see. And you get a broad spectrum, different type of art for the pirate there. And some of those pieces, they might not gel with some of the other ones. I could see that people would be like, oh, that's kind of a weird picture. The one that was questionable to me was the bandit here. And it says, which I understand, that it may be someone that is, bandits don't have to be just, on the road and stuff. They could be noblemen who rob from the rich, give the poor, heartless men, who steal as they go past, feared by merchants and whatnot. So it could be someone of great finesse and bravado, but it's kind of just an odd picture, I think, for the bandit. But it's still, it makes sense with it. It's just something I didn't expect to see for a bandit. I guess I thought I would see kind of the masked type of bandit. And obviously some older pictures for the bard. So some of the pictures are a little bit pixelated here and there, but overall I think the pictures do what they need to do to show you what the class is, and ultimately that's what it is. There wasn't any in particular that I thought were just absolutely horrible, but some that obviously I liked better than others. But yeah, I think that you can have a lot of adventures with this, a lot of different type of stuff if you want to do that. I mean, you could all play angels or something, or if you wanted to change a character into something down the road, maybe your campaign creates, let somebody have the powers of an angel, and you can take out a lot of the different class abilities and kind of make your own kind of classes with it, or hey, I'm going to steal that from that class and say that this guy has it now. So overall, I think that it's a great book, a great pickup for Labyrinth Lord, any other OSR game, just to give you a big collection. If you're kind of maybe a little bit tired, or you have that player that's like, oh, I'm such a great player, that person that I don't want to play something so mundane as a thief or a fighter. I want to play something, kind of zany or different. Get the Class Compendium. I think you show this to them. They're probably going to pick out some of the weird ones. You'll be like, nah, I'm playing a Death Knight in this, pal. So you can just squash that right now. But Swordmaster, again, very cool. The Berserker. See, there's some of the art there for the Berserker. It just kind of has a whole gambit of different type of art in it. But it gets the job done. So, and this is what it looks like on each of the different categories right there, that picture. So, great book, more art, the Commander, and highly recommend you pick it up if you need more classes. So there it is, Class Compendium for Labyrinth Lord. Thanks.